Hi there folks. Last week I had the good fortune to attend a cybersecurity conference here in Melbourne and was alarmed at what I heard. I thought it fairly important that I create a short introductory video for you all and tell you about cybersecurity, and at the end of it, even though this is simple, the coverage of this video, at the end I've listed 3 or 4 websites that you should follow up for more information. Cybersecurity is as important to us as normal home security. Just as we wouldn't open our door to a stranger in the night who'd be after our major valuables, our gold watches or whatever, or the money in the tin under the sink, we need to be exactly as protective about our less obvious valuables. And they are things like our bank account and our personal identity, and more things like that. Every time you go to a teller machine, for instance, to code something in, you could have a camera watching your fingers and taking information away, and so they can access your account later. So I don't think today that we can do much about it except protect ourselves. I think because it's an international trans-jurisdictional crime where people can live in one country and access the data in another country, they're very hard to prosecute, and as it's profitable they'll continue. But just as we wouldn't walk down a dark street at night on our own in an unsavoury part of the neighbourhood, we'd use our common sense. We need to use our common sense online. And what I'd like to do is just talk about some of the aspects of cybercrime and what we might do to protect us. You might wish to hear an overview of the main threats to us, and they're generally described as malware, M-A-L-W-A-R-E. The first of them is a computer virus. It's very common. And a virus is a program that can infect its host and then replicate itself, just like a real virus. Interestingly, a virus cannot run on its own. You might receive a virus in a number of ways, for example via an email attachment that you open, or by downloading something from the internet. Then there's a worm. A worm is similar to a virus. Its basic mission is to spread itself as far and as wide as possible by replicating itself, either over the network or by harvesting email addresses from your computer, and that often happens, and then mailing itself out to everyone on your mailing list. There's one big difference, however. Worms can run themselves. They don't need you to do anything accidentally to kickstart an infection or a problem. Then there's spyware. Although potentially less physically damaging than a virus or a Trojan, spyware, and its close cousin adware, can be a serious threat to your privacy. In some cases they can change files or settings in your PC. But the main function is to gain information about you and how you use the computer. And that's usually reported back to someone somewhere on the internet. That's a bad thing. Trojans are probably the worst. A Trojan is a wolf in a sheep's clothing, as they say. You download a normal program, but it carries this malicious Trojan within it. The Trojan's not normally a problem itself, but as the Trojan horse was, the horse came into Troy at night, everyone accepted, the soldiers jumped out from its belly in the morning and attacked and killed everybody. Well, that's what a Trojan does. It ships in something very malicious. Now the next thing is a rootkits. Now they can be brought to you by a Trojan, or they can be brought to you by a virus infection. They're basically a very nasty piece of code that allows other people to take control of your computer. They can do anything they like. They can use your computer and your account to send viruses or emails out to millions of people. So we've got to be very, very wary of them. The last thing is cookies. You'll hear that term come up. I'll send a smiley face here in a moment, but cookies aren't a problem. They help speed up your progress through sites that you visited before, and you should leave them. So the question is, how do we protect ourselves? Well, here's some things. 1. Install and keep your antivirus software up to date. 2. Never open an attachment that you don't know where it's come from. And I'll show you what an attachment is in a little insert here, I hope. Never put your date of birth or address online with information that can lead back to you without a very, very good reason for doing it. Change any important passwords. Some of your minor ones don't matter, of course, but change any of your important passwords once or twice a year just to be safe. And lastly, As people can get into your computer, don't save your important passwords and information online. Save them somewhere else. Remember too that everything you say online, everything you type in a forum, everything you say on Facebook or these other sort of areas is there forever. And people will access it should they need to, and should they wish to, and should you be unlucky. From our personal experience online at Greypath in the past 10 years, we've used 2 free antivirus packages and tested them virtually, you could say, to destruction. One is AVG, the other is Antivire, and we've had no problems whatsoever. Perhaps it's time now too to say that you should be aware of social networking sites. If you don't need Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, then don't sign up. And if you do, keep your personal information to a minimum. You're seeing a lot out in the newspapers these days of the issues that have come about by people having their private information accessed online. Anyway, if you do use such sites, and increasingly we all may have to, just like online banking, checks will be out soon, then Telstra has provided us with 5 excellent social networking tips. And their first tip is to evaluate the social networking site you will use carefully. Understand their privacy policy and security settings in place to help you manage your privacy, your friends and your content. 2. Publish only information that you're comfortable that everybody else in the world can see. Once it's online, it's always online. And I might say, even though you delete stuff, it's still retained. Protect your privacy. Never give out personal details like your date of birth or your address. And a big caution as we get older, and perhaps some of us are lonely, don't become friends with people you don't know in the real world. Always protect yourselves. Never let your guard down. And also on social networking sites, be very, very careful about installing extras, which they're pushing from time to time. Take the time to research what sort of information they're really seeking from you. Now, generally speaking, I've got here another 10 tips, and that's why I read some of these things rather than say them verbatim, because otherwise it might sound more fluid presentation, but of course I wouldn't get the message across, so bear with me. Here are the 10 top tips on preventing you from becoming a cyber victim. Remember what I said earlier, there's nothing we can do about these assaults, but we can minimise our chance of being a victim. And every small thing we do will help that. Firstly, change your passwords at least twice a year. Passwords should be random and unique, but still memorable. Try using a mixture of numbers and letters. Install security software and update it regularly. Always update it when they ask you to. Think before you click on links or attachments from unknown sources. It could have a virus. So if you don't know the people, don't open the attachment until you've sorted it out with them. Be careful about what information you disclose about yourself and others online, as we said earlier. Don't leave a computer running with your account logged in, because other people can take advantage of it and use it. Be wary of emails, phone calls or SMS messages from unknown sources asking you to update, validate or confirm your account details, your password or your personal information. If there's half a flag raised in your mind, stop. Don't respond to any deals or requests for your details online. They say you've won something, to send your address and they'll mail it to you. Don't. We're not that lucky. Never send money, credit card, account or other personal details to unsolicited offers. It's only when you approach a site that's got all sorts of verifications on it for transactions and you want to get an extra battery for your camera or something in China, then you might perhaps consider it. Always type the address of a website you're wanting to look at in the address bar. I'm not too certain why that is, but it sounds like good advice from Telstra. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Telstra and AVG Antivirus for the input to this video. And I would recommend that you take note of the following URLs that I'll be putting up for further information. If you didn't get a pencil and paper before, then we'll continue slowly here, but we'll wait a while until you've got the opportunity. There you go. Thank you very much. Remember that those last few links are where you can follow up on what I've been talking about today, and I hope you're feeling a little bit more informed, and I hope you're feeling a great deal more cautious. Thank you.